Today, I'm going to recap a 2019 Korean action movie called Long Live the King. This movie is about a gangster who decides to be a good person after falling in love with a beautiful girl who's working as a lawyer. One day, he accidentally saves people from a bus crash, becomes a hero of the city at a bound, and leads him to run in the mayoral election. Apparently, the political world is very cruel. His rival candidate plays dirty to win. How is his love story with that female lawyer? Does he manage to win the election? Let's find out together. One day, a protest against market demolition is taking place at a traditional market located in Mokpo City. There are so many gangsters who are ready to demolish the market. Their leader is Jang. Apparently, a beautiful lawyer is there defending those merchants. Her name is Hyeon. She is so angry with Jang that she slaps him hard. She reminds him that he cannot just demolish the market because everything has been regulated in the law. Instead of being angry, that slap turns out to make Jang fall in love with her. His heart melts even more as he sees Hyeon trying to defend the merchants. Because of that, he decides to cancel the demolition. 3 months have passed, the traditional market still operates. Jang often visits that market only to monitor the market conditions. Maybe there is another reason why Jang often visits the market. Yes, it's because he can see Hyeon there, even though they don't talk to each other. One day, Jang gets a chance to talk with her. On this occasion, Hyeon tells him something that will change his life. Be a good person, she said. A simple sentence but has a big impact for Jang as he decides to sell his dirty businesses, stop being a gangster, and start a new life as a good person. Jang's first step to be a good person starts when he watches the news about the candidates in the Mokpo City mayoral election. There are 2 potential candidates. The first one is Choi, who is known as a bad politician, while the second is Hwang, Mokpo City's head of welfare chief, who used to be a gangster but has retired. Currently, Hwang also runs a non-profit restaurant where each meal costs only $1. Jang's friend tells him to meet and learn from Hwang. Jang finally goes to Hwang's restaurant to find him. Surprisingly, Hyeon also comes to that restaurant. But she is not alone, she comes with some of her friends, who are podcasters. Hwang thinks that their arrival has something to do with politics, so he refuses to talk with them. However, Hyeon and Jang insist on following him. They even help him to clean the toilet and do other things. Seeing their effort, Hwang finally changes his mind. Firstly, he asks Jang about his purpose. Jang tells him that he wants to follow his path in leaving his old life as a gangster and start a new life as a good person. But suddenly, there is chaos in the restaurant. Turns out a gangster is beating a part-timer because the part-timer forbade him to smoke inside the restaurant. Seeing this, Jang punches that gangster and his friends. Hwang is very disappointed with what Jang has done. He tells Jang if he wants to change his life, he has to change his habit first. Apparently, Choi is the man behind the market demolition. He has to demolish the market because he wants to build a large theme park there. But he couldn't start the construction because the demolition hasn't started until now. It turns out that Jang and his men were ordered by Choi to do the demolition. On the other hand, Hyeon brings Hwang to the market to explain her purpose. The merchants seem to have given up because they don't have any power. They asked Hwang to enter the mayoral election so he can save their life when he becomes the mayor. He is hesitant at first, but his heart tells him to help them. He finally agrees to enter. It doesn't take long for Hwang to be registered as a candidate. Furthermore, a quick simulation shows that his chance to win the election is higher than Choi's, even though he is not from any political party. Knowing this, Choi starts to worry and decides to play dirty by asking his gangster, Chun, to eliminate Hwang. The day after, Jang comes back to Hwang's restaurant to apologize about the incident he caused. He also promises to break his wrist if he hits someone again. But Hwang is already very disappointed with him and doesn't want to see him anymore. Jang insists on staying at the place until Hwang forgives him. Even though it is already night, Jang is still waiting there. He even joins Hyeon's and her friend's party and gets drunk. Hyun's friends suspect that Hyun is dating Jang and start to tease her. But she denies it because she still sees Jang as a gangster, which is a bad person. Her friends try to convince her by telling the good things about him, such as his kindness in defending the market from demolition. Knowing that, she slowly starts to like him. Hwang finally decides to give Jang a chance. He allows Jang to start working as a volunteer in his restaurant. Not only that, he also forbids Jang to use his own car to come to work, instead he must ride the bus. On his first day, the bus he was riding in had an accident. Every passenger is trying to save themselves, but not with Jang. He chooses to save the fainted bus driver even though the bus is going to fall into the sea. With so many passengers escaping from the bus eventually loses its stability and ends up falling into the sea before Jang manages to save the bus driver. The news of this bus accident quickly spreads on television, and Hyun is so panicked knowing Jang was on the bus. Is Jang still alive? Luckily, yes. Instead of going home to rest, he goes straight to the restaurant, injured and soaking wet. Crazy. Because of his heroic action, every television station is now trying to interview Jang. It seems that Hyun likes Jang even more because of this. On the other hand, Chun starts to carry out Choi's order. He orders 3 of his men to eliminate Hwang. Their mission seems to be going well because Hwang is not strong enough to fight them all at once. Luckily, Jang shows up at the right time. He fights them alone. Knowing that Jang is strong enough, they escape. Jang and his friends know that Choi is a dirty politician. From his gestures, they can see that he only pretends to be sad over what happened to Hwang. They are very sure that Choi has something to do with it. Moreover, they also know that Chun works for Choi. So, the gangster who attacked Hwang must be Chun's men. Realizing that, Jang immediately goes to Chun's place and warns him that he is going to find evidence. Meanwhile, Jang comes to the hospital and wants to break his wrist as promised because he hit Chun's men, but Hwang forbids him because he wants Jang to replace him as the candidate for the upcoming mayoral election. His condition makes it impossible to continue. Jang's first speech as a mayoral candidate doesn't seem to work. Nobody comes to his speech. Knowing this, Hyun, who is also part of Jang's team, asks candidate number 4 to give her support to Jang. She agrees. Now, Jang has a strong backing from a political party. On the other hand, the 3 big gangsters who attacked Hwang are found hiding in the Philippines by Jang's gangster friend. Apparently, Jang asked for his help to find those men. Knowing that Chun's men are found, Choi and Chun start to worry because they know that as soon as they tell the police, they are finished. Now, they are finding a way to solve this problem. Unfortunately, Chun knows something about Jang's dark past. Jang and his best friend were involved in a gangster fight. Sadly, his friend was killed during the fight, making Jang involved in his death even though Jang didn't kill him. Chun then tells that story to Choi. He believes that is the only way to drop Jang's electability. Knowing this, Choi smiles evilly. On a television show, Choi reveals this story. Jang's team members are surprised after knowing this story. An internal conflict happens in their team. They are so disappointed Jang didn't tell them about this. But Jang tells them that he will solve this problem by himself. Meanwhile, Choi and Chun continue their dirty plan. Now they kidnap Hyun and threaten Jang to release their men. Jang's image gets worse when he attacks Choi in front of the media because Choi was provoking him. Jang is in a hard situation now. Now, his only way is to find Hyun and send Chun's men to the police as soon as possible. After a full day of searching, Jang and his friends manage to find one of Chun's men and force him to tell where Hyun is. They are on a ship. Suddenly, Jang sees Hyun running from Chun. Apparently, Hyun was kidnapped inside a room on that ship, but she managed to escape. Jang stops Chun from chasing Hyun and successfully catches him. He sends him and his man to the police. And Hyun is safe now. On the other hand, 3 of Chun's men who were caught in the Philippines have been handed over to the police. They tell the police who ordered them. Now, it is over for Choi. Everyone knows that he was behind all of these. And because of this, Jiang has a bigger chance to win the election. In his last speech before the election, so many people are supporting him. And the election day finally comes. Even though Choi is in a big problem, he is still listed as a candidate. What a shame. Fortunately, Jiang wins the election, making him the new mayor of Mokpo City. Meanwhile, Choi is finally arrested. But the most important thing is Jiang finally wins Hyun's heart because he has turned into a good person, as she requested. How about you? Can you turn into a good person for the people you care about? Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.